going to make a Yorkshire High Tea. Yesterday Dan and I were in Harrogate in North Yorkshire. Dan has been on a Pianoforte Tuners Association convention, and of course I came up to North Yorkshire with him as we're going to go to the Lake District on Saturday to see some of my family. And in the afternoon, while he was doing a workshop in regulating a grand piano, I had a good look round Harrogate. I went to the Pump Room Museum to see how the spa used to work, and I had a nice walk in Valley Gardens. Even though the weather wasn't particularly warm or sunny, we'd had quite a bit of rain. The afternoon was a bit better, there was showers, so I was able to enjoy a nice walk, and we met up afterwards. In the morning, when Dan had checked in at the hotel where the convention was taking place, we had a couple of hours to wander into Harrogate, and we had tea and cake at the famous Betty's Tea Rooms, and it was all very nice. It was like something you see in, say, Poirot or Miss Marple. They all had their pinnies on and very genteel table service. Very pleasant indeed. We were there on a Wednesday and it had been raining, so it wasn't particularly busy, although there were quite a few people having breakfast or tea and cake. It wasn't as busy as it gets sometimes. I've been past the one in York before and couldn't find a table for love nor money all afternoon. The one in Harrogate is, if you like, the flagship store. Before we went for our tea and cake, we went into the shop which sells savouries and cakes that you can take away to have afterwards. And I bought us a few treats. I bought this chicken and bacon club, which was Dan's choice, so it's Yorkshire chicken and good quality bacon with mayonnaise, crisp lettuce and tomato in malted grain bread. And for me, I bought an egg and cress made with free-range eggs, mayonnaise and cress in Betty's white bread. The chicken and bacon club sandwich was £5.75 and the egg mayonnaise was £4.75, which I think is quite reasonable for a high-class tea shop such as Betty's. We also had some cakes, and there's this cute little box here. The lovely box here, see, established 1919. And in here we have a delicious slice of strawberry cheesecake, and this is a chocolate vanilla slice. And that looks absolutely yummy. It looks to be a chocolate mousse with this lovely feathering of chocolate and vanilla ganache on top. Also, to go with those treats, the total of these came to £17.75, which I think is rather good. We're going to have these scones that we had from the Morrison's Too Good To Go the other day. These have been in the freezer compartment of our fridge, and we took them out this morning. And we're going to have double cream. This is made in Holmfirth, West Yorkshire, where they used to film the TV series for many years, Last of the Summer Wine. This is a very good Yorkshire brand. I've been buying these products for probably 30 or 40 years. Iceland stock some of the Longley Farm brand. And we're also going to have some of our landlady's jam. This is homemade jam, this blackcurrant jam, which is one of my favourites. And there's also a jar of strawberry jam. I'm also going to prepare a salad to go with that, and we are also going to have a pot of Yorkshire tea. Got these beautiful apricots that we bought today on the market in Ripon. Now, Dan had another workshop this afternoon and I stayed in Ripon. So he went off to Harrogate and I went to the Ripon Workhouse Museum, which was fascinating. And in the morning we went to a really nice Indian cafe called Reality, and I had a delicious dal brunch and Dan had a chicken curry brunch. The food was amazing. They also do a good selection of really yummy cakes, things like mango masala cake and mango and coconut cake and Victoria sponge cake. Some of the food is based on the Raj, which was a period of British colonial rule in India, and this came to an end in 1946. And during the period of colonialism, there was a crossover between Indian food and what British people had been used to eating in England. So as well as curries, there was traditional afternoon tea and cakes as well. And Reality is similar in style to that. And the food was being cooked by a lovely Indian lady. It was excellent. I would recommend Reality to anyone who likes Indian food. It gets 5 out of 5 in TripAdvisor scores as well. This is a beautiful orange that we also bought today at the market. I really like the mixture of fruity and plant in salads. I have some mixed leaves here. There's baby spinach and some red lettuce and various other leaves, and a beautiful apricot and a gorgeous orange. I can smell it from here, it's amazing. These oranges are similar to mandarins. I also have a lovely tomato. This is one of the tomatoes we bought the other day in Fodder Farm Shop, just outside Harrogate. I'm going to slice this up. The knives here aren't terribly sharp, but they'll do the job okay. I just want something healthy to go with all the unhealthy food. I'm going to cut this up into manageable pieces. I don't have any salad dressing, so we're going to use some of the hummus that we bought the other day, the lemon and coriander hummus. I'm going to use a bit bit of this pepper as well. I really like these long peppers. We'll probably have the rest for breakfast. We have another pepper as well, but that might go back with us if we don't eat it while we're in the Lake District. Because we're in a hotel, we might not get a chance to eat it. I'm going to give this a rinse and a drain now, and then once Dan has bobbed on and made a pot of tea, we can sit down and enjoy our supper. I'm going to try one of these sandwiches, see what they're like. The bread is nice and fresh. It's got a good crumb. It tastes nice. It's not cheap bread. It's not your average cheap bread. It tastes a bit more like homemade or from a bakery. It's got a little bit of firmness, but it's not stale. If we'd eaten it yesterday, it would have been as fresh as a daisy. And then inside there's lots of filling. It's buttered both sides. There's cress. And the egg mayonnaise has a really nice texture. I'm a bit funny about texture. Sometimes it feels a bit funny in the mouth, more like looser scrambled egg, and I find that quite unpleasant. But this is nicely seasoned as well, and it doesn't have that like scrambled texture. It's got good seasoning. There's salt in there, a tad of pepper, but it's perfectly seasoned, because I find that some egg mayonnaises, they don't have enough seasoning, particularly salt. And an egg mayonnaise sandwich with not enough salt, I find quite underwhelming and not altogether pleasant. Now, I would give that sandwich probably an 8 out of 10.
Now here is the chicken and bacon sandwich from Betty's. Slightly dry texture because it's been sitting around for a day. It still feels fresh. It's got in a good generous filling of bacon at the bottom, bit of chicken, quite a few generous slices of chicken, piece of tomato and iceberg lettuce. Mayo dressing. So I'm going to have a take a bit and see what it's like. Very nice. Proper chicken breast of the feathered variety. Proper bacon, nice crispy bacon.
Is it smoked bacon or plain?
Hard to tell. I'll try a bit on its own. It's smoked.
Lovely.
And granary bread with nice bits in it.
And what mark would you give it out of 10?
Probably about 9.
Lovely. Excellent job. I'm going to try this. We didn't have any cucumber, but I don't think we'll need it. I think the fruit offsets any need for cucumber. That hummus is really good. It's really well seasoned. Not too much garlic. And the lemon juice does come through. The coriander, I would have probably liked a little bit more coriander, but I can see it. There's flecks of green in it. But I love coriander, and it does have a lemony taste to it. But I could have just done with a little bit more, but I think it's very good. I'll try it with a bit of orange. The two really go well together. It's a complete success. with the orange, I think, because there's a citrus in the hummus. Obviously lemon, and orange and lemon go well together anyway, but I think it's a real hit with the orange. I'm going to try it with a bit of the apricot as well. I love apricots, and these ones are so fresh. That's a successful salad. These are the cakes. They're both similar to cheesecakes in a way, except this is more of a chocolate mousse cake. It's quite squidgy. And this is a beautiful strawberry cheesecake. I can see right away that the biscuit base is nice and buttery and it's not too hard. Sometimes cheesecakes have a very hard biscuit base, especially if there's something like Biscoff and there's not enough moisture in the cheesecake filling, then the base can be a little on the hard side in comparison to the rest of the texture. But this seems to be pretty good. It's holding its shape, but there's still some crumble on the biscuit, as you can see. Apart from the very bottom, there's some slightly crumbly crumb, which looks to me to be perfect. I can hear the biscuit crunch, but it chews really well. The biscuit crumb isn't overly hard at all. You heard me then, just put the fork through. It's really nice and buttery. The topping, I like the tartness of the strawberry with that sweetness as well, coming from the cream cheese and the cream. It's not too sweet. I really like the strawberry glaze. Again, look at that. That's been brushed on. It sits on top, but it's not gone gloopy. It still moves around really well. And there's a bit of chocolate shaving as well. I'll try a bit. That's a handmade chocolate decoration. It's real cream. And the cream hasn't been sweetened either. And the strawberry has got a very intense strawberry flavour. And that hasn't been sweetened either. It just offsets the sugar in the dessert perfectly. I'll try this one now. This is quite squidgy. It's a mousse. See how aerated it is. It's been well whipped. They haven't over whipped it and have assembled it before the air has got out of it, so there's plenty of air bubble. That is chocolatey. It's really good quality chocolate as well. I would say that's probably Belgian chocolate. That's what it tastes like to me. Again, it's not overly sweet. And then there's this lovely chocolate and vanilla ganache on top. And what looks like a pastry top as well. Pastry is slightly tough. I like the ganache. The pastry is slightly chewy, and that ganache is sweeter as well. So to me it's a good job that the base is what I would probably call slightly undersweet. The two I think go together quite well. I'll just try. It's a good balance. This dessert is sweeter though than that dessert. I'm going to give the cheesecake 9 out of 10, and I'm going to give the chocolate mousse cake 8.3 out of 10. It's just slightly too sweet on top for me personally, and the pastry crust is slightly overworked, I would say. Lastly, we have these scones. These were from the Morrison's Too Good To Go deal, and these are gluten-free scones. I'm going to split it down the middle if I can, and put a bit of butter on and some cream. And let's see what this is like. I'm going to go for the landlady's blackcurrant jam. Ooh, that's very blackcurrant. That's well set. I'm putting jam on first and then cream. That's how I roll. If you do it the other way round, it's Devon. If you do the jam first and the cream, it's Cornwall.
What's the Yorkshire version?
In the gob. Vanals. Let's see what this is like. The scone itself isn't too bad. Or it's hardly a fat rascal. They're about 3 times the size of a normal scone. And thicker. It's not bad though. Saying it's been in the freezer and it wasn't as fresh as a daisy when we had them. The cream is really lovely. That's really nice and creamy and rich. I like the tartness of the jam, and it's been made with loads of fruit. It's packed with fruit, and the landlady said that she hadn't put in any additives or preservatives. It's just as nature intended. Fruit, water, sugar and a squeeze of lemon juice. That's all you need. It's perfect. I suppose I should try the strawberry jam. That might go on the other scone. Half. I'll give it a taste. Excuse manners or lack of. Oh my god, that strawberry jam is amazing. Again, it's full of strawberries. A little bit sweeter, but again, as nature intended. The texture is slightly looser than the blackcurrant, but you find that with strawberries anyway, they don't have a huge amount of pectin in. It's absolutely delicious. All in all, I would give this Yorkshire High Tea 9.5 out of 10. Such a great idea of mine to do this instead of slave over the hot stove. See you again soon. Try one. Bye.